Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, my name is LJ and you're watching NoClutch Garage. And today we're going to be talking about a pretty hot topic in the B58 community, and that is the direct injection injectors on the B58. So you guys know we have direct injectors and we don't have port injection. Unfortunately, this is one of the few modern engines that hasn't adopted port and direct, which is fine. These direct injectors are actually pretty big. We estimate around 1500 cc's per injector, which is plenty for anything really. So today we're going to be talking about the injectors, and I'm going to be replacing my injectors because I did a whole motor rebuild and for some reason I didn't replace my injectors. So we're going to replace them all today, and I'm going to show you how that is done using a special tool provided by BimmerNetwork Performance. So shout out Trevor and BimmerNetwork Performance for lending me this tool and show you guys how to do it. By the way, this tool is available on the BimmerNetwork.com website for you to rent, use, and of course you can return it, so you don't have to buy an expensive specialty tool that you might use once or twice ever in the ownership of your car. So we have those available, link in the description down below. Anyway, if you keep up with my videos, you have already seen me pretty much disassemble the top of the motor. We're gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna do a video with a time lapse that is pretty much gonna show you how to approach this. Now, I do have other things that I need to do to the motor, but on this video we're gonna focus on the injectors. So pretty much this video will be all about the injectors. I'm gonna show you how to remove them, and then once we're ready to put everything back together, I'm gonna show you how to put them back in using the specialty tool. So let's get to it. Now, I do want to note that there are a few aftermarket parts that I have on my car that may make it a little bit different than what you would be used to doing with a stock motor. Regardless, most of the process is about 95% the same. So, you know, things like my catch can, my port injection rail, stuff that gets in the way, that stuff I will have to move out of the way as part of my process, even the Dodge Engineering fuel pump. So those things have to come off in order for me to get to the injectors. Let's go ahead and do that, and I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. Alright guys, and before we move forward with the actual pulling and installing of injectors, I wanted to show you guys. I have here all my injectors, and then I have here the specialty tool. This specialty tool, as I said before, was provided by BimmerNetwork Performance, and it's a very easy tool to comprehend. So let's go ahead and look at. So what we have here, this is the main part that's going to be pulling the injectors. These will go on top of the injectors. These will actually grab the injectors. You're going to give it a about a 90-degree turn, and then they will lock onto the injector. Once they're locked into the injector, that's where these will thread in, and as you turn it right here, you see that it's catching it. So I will show you all of this once we actually get on the motor, but this is just a little preview. And there are 4 of these because this kit works for the Supra, works for the B58 and the B48. So they made a plate big enough for B48 essentially, but of course B58 has 6 cylinders, so you're going to be using 3 at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and grab 3 of these guys. There are 4. And then these pins are pretty important. So basically what we're going to do with these, so if you look at these holes here, these holes match with the pattern of the bolts that we took off to take the fuel rail out. So basically these will go through like that. Put this piece at the bottom, that'll create the space. You torque the top and that'll set it in place so this doesn't move around. Let's go ahead and do this the right way, and let's go ahead and get it done. Alright guys, so the first thing we have to look at here is this is the fuel rail that we're going to be taking out. We're also going to be taking out this fuel rail, but I'm going to show you how to do everything on this one because it's exactly the same to do it on the other side. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take off all of these bolts, and the reason we're taking all of these bolts is because these two and these two hold the actual rail down, and these two and these two and these two hold the injector down. So the ones that will hold the injector are going to be E6s. The ones that hold the fuel rail down are E8s. So we're going to start with our E8s. can remove the first fuel rail. So now you see we have the exposed injectors. Now we're going to take these guys that I showed you. So these will go on. They lock in place. The way you can tell these lock in place, when you press them down, this bar is up. When you turn it, it locks down. And now it's locked in place. Now we can take our specialty tool. So as you start to turn, this starts to pull it. I don't know if you can see here, but I'm turning and turning. This injector's already out. Alright. Alright, so if they don't thread in, it's fine. Not to worry about it too much. We have these supports right here. Now for this part, you may need an adjustable wrench if you don't have the appropriate wrench for this job. I couldn't find the right wrench. I know I have it around here somewhere, but I do have a 24. This is what you're going to need. It's a 24mm wrench, and we're going to be torquing in. As you torque in, this will pull it. Same thing we're going to be doing over here. All of these seem to be pretty loose. Now that they look pretty loose, I'll take these bolts out. Let's take these support beams out. And then we just pull up. And here we have 3 injectors at a time. And that's how you use this tool to remove them. Alright guys, so what we're going to do now is we have here our brand new injectors. So I'm going to go ahead and open this one. Brand new injector. Alright. I'm going to take my old injector and I'm going to remove this top part, and then we're just going to put this one to the side. And then we're going to go ahead and prepare it just by putting this on there. So this is going to be my new injector 1, new injector 2, and my new injector 3. I'll go ahead and remove this little hat. And there we go. We have our new injectors in place. Alright guys, so now we're getting ready to put the injectors back in, and I'm going to show you the right procedure to do this. There actually is a right way to do this. So first thing we're going to need right now is we're going to need to press in all these little seals. When you get these new injectors, the seals are not pressed in. I don't know if you can see this or how well you can see the seals right here, but if you look at them closely, this thing will focus. If you look at this closely, there we go, finally, you will see that there is a space in the seal. And if we look at the one that we already did, this is pressed in. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going to use these little caps, and there is a press tool that you can buy, and it's a special tool from BMW. We don't have it here, but we have these little caps that work just as good. So basically what we do is we put these in the injector, and we want to move them around so you don't mess the Teflon up basically. But eventually these will press all the way in like this, and then just leave them on for about, I'd say about 10 minutes, and they should be pressed all the way in. This one has been on here for quite a while, and the purpose was to show you guys what this is supposed to look like. So if we remove these little caps, you can see that the seal has been pressed in. And then compare that to one of these over here. And this has a slight lip on it. This one still does have a slight lip on it, but it's not as bad. So basically we're just using those little caps to press them in as much as we can, and then once they go into the head, they'll be pressed in all the way. Alright guys, for this next part there is a special procedure to do this, and actually I'm going to show you the correct way to install the injectors per BMW. So this is the way that BMW would do it, and I have these in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is my first rail. This is my first fuel rail that goes in the front of the motor. And you can identify it simply by this fuel pressure sensor that we have right here. Alright guys, and to put this in, now we're going to grab this rail, pressure sensor facing right, which is the front of the motor. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it like this, because it's going to make it easier for me. So we're going to turn it, I'm going to grab this injector. Make sure that the electrical lead is facing towards the front of the motor, so facing the pressure sensor. And we're basically just gonna, before we start, actually, before I skip any parts, we're gonna put a little bit of blue Loctite on these. And you don't have to do this, but I am gonna do it. So I'm gonna put a little dab, nothing crazy, just a little bit. I'm gonna grab my injector, I'm gonna make sure it's facing the right way. And then I'm going to insert my bolt and go ahead and thread it in. And this is all hand threaded. You don't have to do any crazy torquing for now. Anyway. So go ahead and get this threaded in properly. And then same thing with the other one. The really cool thing about this is that there is this tool which comes within this same tool package. And basically what we're going to do with this is we're going to insert this right here, and this is going to tell us just where to torque it down to. So all of this is supposed to be hand tight. Do not recommend you using any kind of power tool for this part. If you do, however, need to use like an extender, you can, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So you can use a small extender with a grip and then turn it manually. And basically all this tool is doing is making sure that you're torquing this down. And as you torque it down, it's coming flat. So you see these, this is now flat. I want to give you a better view right here. I might have pinched it a little too much on the right side, on this side, but that's fine. This is a very good approximation. And this is how they want you to leave it, okay? So we're going to repeat that process for all of these injectors. Alright, so now we have this set the way BMW wants us to have it. You want to make sure they're loose like this. So we're going to go ahead, take these little caps off, and we're going to go ahead and install it. Alright guys, so now that we have our injectors in the position that we want them, very carefully drop them into the well. That is pressed against the head. So now what you want to do is you're going to take these top bolts and you're going to put them in. Start torquing them in little by little. And notice how even with a power tool I didn't torque them hard, just until I felt some resistance. So now we have these the way they're supposed to be. And now that we have them like this, we can torque everything down to 5 Newton meters. First thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and tighten everything. Perfect. So now we have that one rail done. I'm going to go ahead and do the rear one. Alright guys, so now the injectors have been installed and installed properly. So at this point, I have installed my torture pump for other reasons. You know, obviously bring back all of the cables and the cable harness and just put everything back in the reverse order that we took it off. Other than that guys, this is pretty much it for the installation for the injectors. So when we did my motor and we built it, I didn't have new DI injectors, so we put my old injectors back, except for one because we accidentally broke it. So we went back and we thought that it had to be coated. We didn't see the need to coat it. However, you do need to reset all the adaptations. If you have something like an Autel or scan through like that, highly recommend that you reset all the adaptations on basically everything, and that alone should be good enough. There is no need to tow these injectors at all. I can show you the procedure, but honestly it's the same anywhere you go to do it. You just reset all your fuel adaptations and all your other adaptations, cycle the power, make sure that the car recognizes that the adaptations have been cleared, and yeah, that's pretty much it for this. No other work, and it's a pretty simple procedure. Obviously I've been here for longer because I've been working on other things, but guys, this is it. I want to give a huge shout out to Trevor at BimmerNetwork Performance for providing this tool to allow me to show you guys how to do this proper. Anyway guys, thank you so much for your support. Any of the products that I use, so the injectors and the tool, I will link those in the description down below so you guys can grab those and use them as you need them. Thank you so much. Talk to you later.